All right. Made it to another live, guys. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. We was running a little bit late. Again, we was talking backstage, and I got a little bit involved in the conversation, and we ran a little bit late. As always, Kirk is a pleasure to talk to, and we get in over our heads sometimes, and it just keeps going and going and going. Uh, we're trying to get the word out right now. YouTube, as usual, deleted my live, and I had to go back in and make some perks to it, which is showing right now because we're at 0 people. I am going to put out another thing on my channel right now just to give everybody a heads up that we are live right now. I wish they wouldn't do this. It makes things so hard. But they have pulled my live. I had to go in and redo my live at the last moment. I got some more information for y'all too about what YouTube has done to me this week. It's been it's just been crazy. They have attacked me pretty hard and made things very difficult. But we're getting there. I'm going to throw this over real quick. I've got a lot of things to talk to y'all about tonight. A lot of interesting things that I think y'all are going to like. All right, let me get this out. All right. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for showing up. I see everybody starting to come in now, and I just put the live out on the other channel. This live was scheduled way ahead of time, but unfortunately, for some reason, the channel, the video that I dropped that was going to be actually part of tonight's video, it was deleted. And me and Kirk and Cal's names were brought up in the video by YouTube in a blocked thing that I had to agree to. I'm not going to get into that because I do have haters out there that would love to have that information. But it was enough to where the video was halted, deleted, and had to be re-uploaded. And I don't know if it's because of tonight's content they didn't want us to talk about, or what was going on. If somebody had been belly aching, some of the the haters that have nothing better to do than the armchair warriors. But that's kind of what happened, and we threw this all together tonight and finally got it working. A few things that I want to talk to y'all about is another thing, I guess, that I want to talk to y'all about, and this is one that I want to talk to you. A lot of y'all have been asking about my aunts. Both of my aunts, as you all know, was hospitalized around the same time. Both aunts were eventually released from the hospital and sent home, and with what we thought was hope. My aunt, Wani, as I called her, she went to be with the Lord the other day. It just, as he says, in the Bible, whenever he calls your name, you go home, and her name was called. And I have hope and faith that I will be reunited with her again, and we will walk and share our stories again. And through Christ, I have hope. And my other aunt, she is on the mend. She is home. She's doing a lot better. And continual prayers for her is appreciated so much. We will be laying my aunt to rest this coming Monday. And I appreciate all the prayers, everybody's, emails, messages, and everything. I appreciate that so much, and it means a lot. Tonight's show is going to be an interesting show. If they leave us alone and don't interrupt us tonight, which I'm hoping they don't. I've had a show yesterday that was fine. So we're going to find out tonight if we're talking about what they don't want us to, because we're fine everywhere else until we start talking here. So maybe we need to watch some of the words we say. I've been told that we, shouldn't say certain words, and maybe we'll try not to do that. But whenever me and Kirk and Cal get to talking, we we tend to not watch what we say. I'm going to go ahead and bring Kirk in since Cal hasn't made it, and we're going to do a little bit of talking right now. It's good to see everybody. Can everybody hear us fine right now? I guess I need to find out. Hey, Kirk.
Hey, Mike, how's it going tonight?
Doing good. It's good to have you. I was telling everybody that we get to talking, and sometimes we're not very censored.
Correct. Yeah, I know.
But if everybody's hearing this, I hope everybody's hearing this well tonight. We're hoping for a good night, for sure.
Thank you, Jacob.
Everybody says we sound loud and clear,
Wonderful.
and so everybody
Thank you,
knows
Brooks.
we did pray before the show. Kirk, I, and Calvin, we did pray before the show, and we felt we needed it.
Yes.
Probably a lot right now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep letting people come on in here before. I got a fly flying around, and he is just determined to either go up my nose or in my mouth. It's like
I hate that.
it's like he doesn't want to go anywhere else but the nose or the mouth.
Right, right.
Do what my grandpa used to say: just suck in and eat him. He said, and be done with him.
Oh my.
My dad, one time, we was sitting outside before he passed, and he was a carpenter, and we was sitting outside, and ants had got in his food we were eating, and I told him, I said, Dad, you got ants in it. He just ate them. He said, just more
Yeah.
protein.
Protein. Exactly.
I ain't got time to pick them out. It was funny. My dad was he also worked for General Motors for almost 30 years in the union. He was a union rep, and he almost 30 years. Miss him every day.
I'm sure you do. I miss my father every day also.
The house that I'm moving into, that I'm been redoing and remodeling, he actually started helping me do it, and then got sick as we was doing it and was unable to finish. So that house has a lot of memories to me. It's not much to anybody else, but it's everything in the world to me. One of those things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
There we go. Hello, Tamara. Good to see you tonight. I believe she's in Oklahoma, if I remember
Yes,
right.
Tamara is in Oklahoma, and I actually, when I come out there to visit you, invited her to go on an investigation with us.
She seems like a really nice lady. I'm hoping. You think that maybe I could outrun her? Would she be slower than the rest of us?
I'd
Not
be the
really.
slowest one, I can tell you that. Hi, Ernesto.
I was teasing the other day. I get a lot of funny emails, and a girl was asking me. She's like, "You're single. What would you think about dating a girl and taking her out, and doing investigations and stuff?" And I said, "Well, that would be fun if you could trust her, but so many people nowadays you can't trust." And she's like, "Well, I think you should find somebody that like." She's trying to tell me everything that I need to be looking for, and I was laughing. I said, "Well, the number one thing I'm looking for right now, really, is a woman with a weak leg or a bad knee."
Like I said, I got a bad knee, so you don't have to worry about it. You can outrun me.
Uh, she
Yes,
says yes. She's
Tamara's in southern Oklahoma.
awesome, and Cal's here.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the show. Hey, good to see you, Cal.
Hey,
Good to see
Cal,
you.
how's it going?
Kurt, it's going pretty good now. I've
Good,
had a pretty good
good.
day.
I know why he's doing good right now. He's got a full belly. I know what he's been doing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
See, he's one of the lucky ones that does have a good woman.
And I
I
just
got.
finished, I made fish and chips and just finished before we came on.
Oh
That's
man.
what I was doing. That's the reason I'm late. I caught dinner. My wife made pork chops.
Oh man.
And that's my weakness,
Yeah.
along with
Dude.
some other stuff. But anyways, yeah, I ate like 4 pork chops, and some biscuits and stuff. So yeah, I'm good for a while, anyways.
Man, I tell you, that, and if somebody, you know, biscuits and gravy, homemade biscuits and gravy, that's one of my weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that is actually my specialty is sausage gravy and biscuits.
Oh man, that I'm
Ooh-wee.
diabetic. I'm not supposed to, but every now and then I do. I'm like, man, if I died in a car wreck tomorrow and diabetes didn't kill me, at least I could say I had some biscuits and gravy at least once.
Yeah, really.
I will say when I go out on investigations with my team, I take my smoker with me. I'll smoke ribs, I'll smoke a pork shoulder, smoke a brisket. You actually use the scent from that cooking to help draw the cryptids in, and it works, believe it or not.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Decoy just said everyone sounds clear as a bell tonight. Guess I'm not going to say the name. Doesn't know how to interfere with the internet. And the reason I'm not saying that name, and Kirk and Cal don't even know this yet. I was on the phone on the chat with YouTube since they won't talk to you in person. Creator, you still have to chat. But the word used, see how can I say this? Ocean, Mary Ocean contributed to harming yourself. So since we were doing the show over that cryptid, they
Mike,
thought
you
that
just
we were all
started.
going to, I guess, put on black Nikes and drink Kool-Aid.
Mike, you just started breaking up.
Yeah. You broke up bad here on my end.
Yep.
Breaking up.
And now the video is froze up. Can anybody hear me?
Right when we got it.
Whoever that was just broke up to the point that I can't even make out who you are. Guys, if you can hear me, I'm going to try to
I'm working.
reboot and come. I'm going to try to reboot and come back in.
Is that any better now?
Yeah. What'd you do, Mike?
All I did was I just kind of I reset the screen.
They're screwing with us. And just like that one voice message said when they came in, yes, we are.
Right. Yeah, they admitted it, so we know that's what they're doing.
Yep.
So tonight's topic, if we can get to it, is I think, and I want to see what you all think, if you can still hear me, and if they're going to allow us to talk tonight. I think that the Ozark Howler may have been misidentified in the 70s and may have been part of other things that was going on, like maybe the folk monster attack. I'm thinking that could have been the Ozark Howler also because of the three toes on the footprint. They was finding those in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Louisiana, and they were all naming it different names.
That three-toed print has also been found just outside Dayton, Ohio.
So it's got a pretty good range.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually have pictures of us finding one. We took pictures of, I believe there were 5 tracks together in the snow before it went onto hard ground and we lost the trail.
Really?
Oh.
What was it? The guy found one in the in the bean field during the folk monster attack, and I think you can see like a casting of it at the old gas station or filling station if it's still there, right?
Right.
Didn't they do that?
Yeah.
I thought they did that. The track was 17 inches by 7 inches wide.
The ones that we actually found were about 14 and a half inches long by almost 7 inches wide.
Is that at the hill?
That's pretty good.
The 7 inches. It's still pretty good sized track.
Yeah.
Do they go across the hill?
Hi,
when they do that,
James.
Kirk, or is it,
Hello, James.
or do they go across the kind of the balls of the feet?
When we measure one, we measure from the heel to the longest toe, and then we also measure from ball to ball.
That's a pretty big footprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
good
like what
size.
Boy said. He said, "Dang, that's huge." Now check this out. Down at my granny's, everybody loves when I talk about grannies. Down at my granny's, my mom and them had chased it on a rainy night, and it had ran and had jumped over the fence. And they measured a footprint, a barefooted footprint, 22 inches, 9.5 wide.
Jeez.
Mike, this is going to blow
Sorry
your
about
mind. This happened up in Allegheny National Forest a couple years ago. There was a 27-inch footprint that measured almost 13 inches wide that actually got cast by a person.
Jesus.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge.
You know,
I mean, it was definitely
Yeah.
Bigfoot, but it's the biggest track I have ever in my life seen.
Yeah, I haven't never seen one that big.
I mean, if you work the formula out, it comes out to that Bigfoot had to be 16 and a half foot tall and damn near 2,000 pounds.
So he was a little guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Tamara, that's huge.
You're going to need more than dragon breath for that one. You're going to need a slug.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would prefer a 40 micron.
That would be
Dragon
good.
breath. Yeah, wouldn't it?
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm partial to hit it with a 155, but
Yeah.
no sense taking any chances.
Yeah, something like that. That big.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, and I don't know if a lot of people, think about this. Whenever I'm investigating, I don't know if it's just my warped mind that thinks, or
Yeah, Sheldon,
but,
I don't blame you. I wouldn't
if
want
you're
it to hold
attacked-
me either.
well, if you're attacked by something, you get to thinking: is it going to be fast, or is it going to run off with you and let the little ones do it, or is it going to pull your arm off, beat you with it? I mean,
It's going to do whatever it wants to do when it's that big.
I mean, it could be really bad if it makes it to you.
Yeah. And believe me, it would make it to you quickly.
Yeah, can you imagine the stride that thing's taking? It's going to be.
I don't know about the military. I don't know about the military, but law enforcement, statistic wise, you're in a firefight, even at 3 foot. 3 out of 9 rounds hit their target.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good odds.
No. Now, I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but there is actually a formula that you can work out the height and the approximate weight of anything with a human type foot. just off the footprint.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I've heard about the formula before. That you work out, but I've never seen it myself.
I'll send it to you,
let me tell
Cal.
y'all right now.
All right, thank you.
I done a video and I was talking about the Nephilim, okay? And I was trying to get where the Nephilim mated with the women, okay? And I used that formula you're talking about, Kirk. I used it a lot, in my investigations, been an investigator. And whenever I worked out the formula, the weight and the height did not match what people were seeing. So what I done is I went from the human formula to the formula that they use in cryptozoology and zoology and animals, larger animals. And I put human to animal, and I was nailing the size, height, weight, everything to what people were seeing. That's when I did the video. And if y'all want to watch it, the video is out. It's got a picture of a telephone for the thumbnail. I received a threatening phone call over doing that measurement. I was told to cease.
Imagine that,
Desist.
threatening phone calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Guys, I
imagine
would
that.
just like to throw this out there before we get too far. I know Mike, I know Calvin, and believe me, I know myself. I will tell everybody, none of us are suicidal. If anything happens to any of us, number one, it was not suicide. Number two, it was not accidental. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I concur. I'm at the happiest point of my life right now. Everything's going good for me. I wouldn't want to be doing anything different than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I'm good. I love
Brooks,
myself to
that's a
rest of
large,
inflicted harm.
large boy.
Yeah, he's an inch taller than I am.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. He's bigger than Cal.
Yeah, I wish Cal could have met my dad. My dad was 6'8", 270. Everybody couldn't believe that my dad was my dad. They'd always say, "That's your dad." I was so little. Whenever I was younger, I weighed like 135 pounds. I was like 6 foot. My dad's 6'8", 350 pounds, size 16 wedding ring. They're like, "There's no way that's your dad."
I can't remember when I weighed 180.
Decoy, we do not know who it was.
No,
Yeah, we don't have any idea. We just know that there was
not a
some
clue.
things happened that was concerning. I'll leave it at that. It was very concerning. Yeah, it was enough that it got our attention.
Oh yeah, over a video that had nothing remotely tied to suicide.
Yeah, I don't know where they kept that.
Yeah, it's just somebody put it in there.
Let's talk about Mister. Well, let's not go that far yet. Let's kind of back up a little bit. I had some emails today, and I've been getting them regularly. And I have people saying, "Mike, why are you not doing boots on the ground? Why are you not doing boots on the ground anymore?" And the honest to God truth is, I'm doing boots on the ground. It just does not happen every time you go out. If I went out every time and I caught something every time I go out, I'm a liar, because you're not going to go out every
Exactly.
time. You're not going to catch it every time. And what a lot of people don't know now, Cal does know. Cal was involved in a interview with me yesterday, very confidential interview of a witness on this huge story I've been telling you all about. Cal now knows the complexity, how dangerous it is. Kirk knows what I'm doing, and what I am doing it deals with the lives of people if this gets out the wrong way before it's meant to come out. The final filming is happening, and it will be launched very, very soon. And when it is launched, it's going to hit several different websites because it will probably be took down. So trust me, you're not going to be disappointed. I know right now it seems like not a lot of boots on the ground is happening, but behind the scenes, I promise you, you're going to get your view worth. And Cal can talk a little bit about it without giving names or what we're doing. And Kirk, they will tell you that what we're going to be bringing out is going to be nothing like what you've seen brought out on any channel. And y'all can even tell them about it, the importance of it.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's gonna blow people's minds. It's gonna get out of the
Iris,
water.
unfortunately, some of the people that want it hidden are very powerful people.
Well, Pamela, yeah, the
Pam,
videos are
that's a
going to cause a lot of
probability.
trouble. Yes.
You know,
Um,
we are touching on things that
I'm going to,
evidently people don't want us to touch on, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, 12 gauge slug dart Planet X would work fine. So does 4570. I've
I'll tell
actually
you what, a 12
used
gauge
that
slug
several
or a
times.
4570 will do the job.
Oh yeah,
And if your shot placement is correct, a 308 will do the job.
yeah.
It comes down to
I'm going to
shot
tell,
placement more than it does caliber.
I'm going to go ahead and tell the people this to give them a little something since they've been worried about what I've been doing behind the scenes. Cal will be able to attest to this. The witness that I spoke to yesterday is one of the few I've ever spoken to in the cryptozoology world as a cryptid attack. You have to understand this lady's father, her dad, he died in her arms. Okay? She has lost family to this creature. And she has also been in the very close proximity to individuals that have been murdered. And she is the names, and we'll stop there. But very, very important.
Yes, Brooks, you are correct. All things shall be revealed.
Thank you, Iris.
Iris, we are going to keep doing what we are doing. We are not going to let anyone or anything stand in the way of the truth.
What's that
I
old saying?
appreciate your prayers.
The truth will stand when the world falls. Can everybody
Amen
hear
to
me?
that. Yep, I've got you.
All right.
I think they're delaying us a little bit. Belinda said that I am cutting out a little bit again.
Yeah.
Yes, you were. You aren't now though, or at least not on my end.
Not on my end.
Yeah, if it starts getting bad, just let me know. I want to talk about a name that both you gentlemen are familiar with. I want to talk about Corey Godsey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something happened with that case that Kirk knows just really burned my buns on that. Uh, there was a another channel, I guess, a competitor that brought on a guy that out and out lied. Um, Kirk was familiar
Correct.
also with the, and he wanted to come on my show and tell everybody that he was coached by this other guy to lie and told what to say. And the only reason he done that, guys, is because me and Kirk had reached out and talked to the sheriff, the fire department, and everybody, and they confirmed that it was a lie. That they didn't even know this guy. He didn't live in the town. He wasn't well known. They had never even heard of him. And he was supposed to have been a cop, everything, okay? Known, admitted liar. And he was brought on this other channel to say that the poor child was in great shape when they found him. And we knew better. We had spoke to first responders that were on scene. And they lied. And I did not give him the time on my show because I knew what he had already tried to do. And if I don't think you're trustworthy, you're not coming on. And me and Kurt talked about this. Cal's talked about this. I mean, if the truth is boring, that's what you're going to get here is the truth. That's
exactly
what we're going to be about is the truth.
You'll be bored
what
to death.
Find, it's going to be the truth. Yeah, for sure. But Corey Godsey was not in good condition when they found him.
Corey Godsey was partially consumed.
His chest and abdomen area, excuse me there, was torn open and a lot of the organs had been eaten. So he wasn't in good
Correct.
shape. No.
And
correct. And go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say that you and Cal have actually spoke to that confirm what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you, Janice.
Yeah, Janice is a sweetheart. We appreciate that, Janice. Thank you very much.
Yes, now what happened with Corey, it is absolutely a shame that they are keeping it covered up. It was 100% a dog man killing. No doubt in my mind about it.
No, there's no doubt. There is no doubt because it was savage. The way his body was done, it was savage.
Yep.
You know, whenever I spoke to the officer, spoke to him, he said, you know, the way his body was kept, that heel, and the way that heel was, and the time frame that the amount of damage it was done to that child, there was no way a dog could have done that. He said it was a short time frame. He said a heel that was almost unclimbable. And he was just ripped up.
Pretty much straight up and down.
Well, now don't say that because I did climb the damn thing when I was down there. But yeah, it was hard with my bad knee.
Yeah, well, you think a dog can pull that body that far?
Oh, hell no.
No, not at that. No, because it's too steep.
And like I said, it was two French bulldogs, which are about 15 pounds apiece, a Sheltie, I believe they're called, a standard poodle, and a Labrador are the 5 that the sheriff had captured and put down and said those were the 5 dogs that did it.
No, I'm afraid not.
I'll guarantee you that none of those dogs had anything to do with it. Hell, none of them were capable of it.
Right. And
No.
Thank you. I believe it's Greg Cena for the 1999 super sticker. We appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know.
Thank you.
Another thing that bothered me about that case was not only was the guy a liar, the other channel still has that video up and playing it as truth.
Yeah.
And they say, well, we want to find the truth. We want to find this. We want to find that. That's why we have such a hard time finding the truth. It's because they put so many lies out there and they fabricate it as the truth. And you got to wade through all the BS to try to find the truth, and it's a
That is
hassle.
exactly right.
Yeah, you got to swim through the BS.
That is one of
And
the hardest parts of being a cryptid investigator is you have to sort through, find out, figure out what the lies are and what the truth is, who you can believe, who you can't believe. And that very, very hard part of it.
yes,
The other
Rebecca,
day I
you
went
are
on a walk.
100% right. No, those dogs could not have done that to the boy.
no, they couldn't have done that. And even if they was capable, the size of the breed, no, they couldn't have. They couldn't have done the damage that was inflicted to him.
And another thing that I done that also I think pissed off the other channel, pardon my French, is I contacted one of my law enforcement friends I'd worked with was a canine officer that is he's also a trainer, and he said there's no way a dog drug a body that high. And also, he said he added this, and I didn't even think about it, but he also added this. Anytime you see a murder where a dog is not locked in a house with a dead body that the dog is unable to escape from, that dog did not eat that person, he said, because dogs do not like the taste of human flesh. They do not like our taste.
That is correct.
I've heard that.
Now, on the other hand, cats will. If an owner
Yeah, cats.
dies and a cat is locked in the house with the owner with no
Yeah,
way for
they'll
food, the
feed on
cat
them.
will feed on the owner.
Yeah, I've read articles about people that had passed away and nobody knew, and they had like uh several cats. When they got to her, got to the body, she'd been passed away for at least 72 hours, and them cats
Right?
had feasted. Uh, they took part of her face. They like ate under her eye and everything, just wherever they could find it. They wanted it, but it. Can you imagine that the loyalty a dog has, and
And
then a cat would do something like that?
and another thing, if you look at the statistics of dog bites to how many deaths occur, it's very, very, very rare that a dog ever takes a human's life. I mean, very rare.
That is
But
correct.
but how many times do you see every time we have an attack nowadays, the dog killed them and it consumed them every
Yep.
time.
It's
Yep.
yeah. I'm waiting for them to start blaming it on hummingbirds.
Well, another thing, and another thing that aggravates me too is whenever they take these dogs, like in the let me the little James McNeilis case in Oklahoma. Whenever they find these dogs and they take them to the veterinarian, the first thing the authorities tell them: do not do a necropsy on them, do not swab them for DNA, kill them and destroy them. And then from Friday to Monday, the dogs were the problem, and the problem was took care of. But yet you got helicopters flying at midnight shooting fully automatics. People call in and they say, "Oh, no, 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 no. They're practicing live fire drills." They don't practice live fire drills over
At
populated
night.
civilian areas. They don't do
No.
that.
No,
No.
no. I'm sorry, no.
That's like those 5 dogs in the Godsey case. They were all destroyed within 24 hours. There were
Yeah,
no autopsies done on them. And even to this day, the sheriff is having any stray dog picked up and destroyed. Destroyed immediately.
that's just unnecessary.
That's right.
I have a, I have a theory. I'll see what y'all think. Have y'all noticed? Okay, I started out with the moon theory. Doing the phases of the moon and everything. Well, I have a new theory now that I'm working on. See what y'all think. Have you noticed in a lot of the dogman attacks and in the werewolf attacks, the towns have a high population of stray dogs? But if you'll notice, all the neighbors in the police report say the stray dogs are not a problem. They've never bit, never been vicious, okay? But this death that happens to where this person was consumed, right? But then all of a
Right.
sudden, stray dogs are rounded up. The stray dogs are took. They're blamed for it. They're destroyed, and they say the problem's took care of. Well, what if the problem is all the stray dogs in the town? What if they are a food source for this creature, and they're coming in to eat the wild dogs and stuff? Humans get in the way. They eat the human, and the authorities know we get rid of the food source. You get rid of the predator, and it moves on. It's just a theory. I
Yeah.
mean, just
It's not a bad theory. Oh God, I hate to go down this rabbit hole, but let me just make a comment. The man that helped me form Northeast Cryptids when it was up is now living out in Missouri, about an hour south of St. Louis. When that FedEx delivery driver was killed and partially consumed, they said, he did look into that, and there were several other people that were consumed in the city of St. Louis. Hank looked into that. Hank came back with this statement: St. Louis has a bad vampire problem. And he said, I'll leave it at that. You can figure it out. I don't want to get involved in this one anymore.
does it have anything to do with the circle that's in my area?
Yep, sure does.
You need to stay away from that circle.
And
Yeah,
as much as I wish we could bring out more about that circle, it would probably be in everybody's best interest if we leave that one alone.
yeah, because I know it brought me nothing but trouble whenever it came out. I mean, and I'll
Exactly
even
right.
I'll
Exactly.
even put it like this: witches came out of the woodworks, and I couldn't even answer the emails. I mean, they were wanting me to give GPS coordinates, directions. How do you get there? Where are you located? I mean, it went crazy for a while.
Yep,
Well, they wanted pretty much everything except you come and get them and take them to it and give them, royal treatment.
Yeah, and I had no idea what was going on. And I think around that time is actually whenever I met Kirk. Whenever me and Kirk really started talking, I think me and Kirk done a podcast on it, and then we spoke after the show. And he told me, he said, "What you ran onto is something you don't want to be, sharing with everybody."
Yeah.
exactly right.
And we just left it at that. After all that had happened, uh, that new case that came out, this new little boy. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Leonte. They found him in the woods here lately. That story seemed a little fishy to me. Did y'all get to listen to that?
Yes, I did, and it seems real fishy to me.
Yeah, you know what they say though.
Did you get to hear that one,
Walks like a
Cal?
duck and sounds like a duck. Yeah.
Did it sound to
Yeah,
you?
I got to
I
it.
know you were in special forces. From being in special forces, I've had a little bit of training. You've had more in this area. Did that not sound to you like that little 8-year-old had a lot more woods training than what he should have for his age?
Yeah. I mean, the way he survived and everything,
Now, see, Mike,
is
I didn't get that out of it. What I got out of it is there was somebody there taking care of him.
yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe
that's what
I
I was
believe
getting
it
at.
was an elder. Yeah, I believe it was an elderly female Sasquatch that was
Yep,
taking care of him.
yep, exactly right.
And a viewer sent me that, and they asked me if I would look into it, and I told them, yeah, I got no problem looking into it. Whenever I looked into it first, while I was looking at it, this is going to be, the story of a missing child that was found with a good outcome. But then I ran across something, and I seen it, and I said, there's a mistake. They said the child ate snow to stay hydrated. And I know in my survival training, you do not eat snow. You melt the snow because it will
You
actually
melt the
cause
snow.
dehydration and hypothermia. Yeah, and
Hypothermia.
they said that's happening. Yeah,
But
and the child
what,
was not hungry.
No, he refused food. He wasn't hungry.
and you happen to miss a couple other things. Okay, number one, it was raining out, but the child wasn't wet.
Thank you, James.
Okay, which means he had some type of shelter somewhere. Be it a large female Sasquatch was hunched over him, acting as an umbrella, or what, but something was keeping that young boy dry.
And warm.
And you notice on the video, whenever they were bringing the child out of the woods, the kid walks across the fallen log. He should not have had coordination and
Thank you,
stuff the way
Tyrone.
he did under those circumstances.
That is correct. He should not have.
No.
He was fed and nourished.
Yep.
Yep.
What do y'all want to bet that he was spoke to before his parents got to speak to him?
Oh, most
Now,
definitely.
now, one other thing. It said the law enforcement said that that was a good thing that he ate the snow to keep hydrated.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a big red flag right there.
Yeah, really.
That was
I mean,
what I seen, and I was like, no way, man, no way,
no.
no. Tamara, I didn't get to throw your question up. No, the VAMPIRE show will still go on. It'll be another one we're doing. I can't say the name or they'll start cutting us out. Tyrone, man, we appreciate it. I'm glad you've learned with us. The difference in our show, man, is we don't know everything. We listen to everybody, and we don't tell everybody, shut up in the comments, don't talk, listen to me. I know everything. As my best friend Steve tells me, a good teacher is also a good student. And man, we
Exactly.
appreciate it.
I tell you, I'll never stop learning. The day I stop learning, they might as well throw dirt over my face.
Yeah.
I won't have anybody on my team that knows it all because they'll be the one that gets you killed.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly it. That's
Zach, you are 100% right. Some are less evil. The problem is, if I put you in a room with 100 rattlesnakes, tell you only one's going to bite you, but can't tell you which one it is, are you going to feel very safe?
JD Smooth has a good question. I'm glad he asked it because it's going to lead to a question I want to bring up to you guys to see what you think too. I'm glad you brought it up, JD. He says, how cold was it outside when they found him? The nights were in the 40s, the days were in the 50s. But here's the question. He was eating snow when they got 40 and 50-degree weather.
Yeah, it sounds, you know what? It's that new snow they brought out, the ones that stays around year round.
Oh, the high
no matter how hot
temperature
it is,
version.
just being snow.
Yeah.
It only
And
melts in you just
actually,
like
I
M&Ms.
looked into that a
in your
little
mouth,
bit
not in your hand.
today. I looked into that a little bit today, and for the 3 days prior to that happening, the lowest temperature I could find was 37 degrees. So the snow was a big question to me also, but I didn't go far enough back to look to see that maybe they could have possibly had a several foot snowpack on the ground, and what he was eating was the remnants of the melting snow, but that's kind of hard to say.
kind of like
Now,
what Janice
Janice
said.
says it rained also.
If they had rain, you know how fast rain will destroy snow.
I was
Oh
getting to
yeah.
that, Mike. Yeah, there's so much of it that doesn't add up. It's just like that case in Virginia that I was looking into where that guy went missing on Christmas Eve. Uh, to this day, nothing of him has ever been found. It is still an active, open case. The family wants answers, and absolutely, unfortunately, law enforcement, I won't say they're stonewalling the family, they're just not doing their job.
No.
We
You
used
can't
to
do your job when your
a
superiors are
common
commanding you and ordering you not to. Now, can you?
Right?
exactly where I was going to get at. Whenever I was a captain, my job, if they were reporting something we didn't want out, what we called it was throw mud on it, which like mud
Yep.
on your boots, it slows you down. And it doesn't mean you're not doing your job, but it means you're not in a hurry to find the outcome.
Right.
And
Right.
you know, my officers were told, and this wasn't my order; it came from above me, and I was just a captain. But anything that was not real, if somebody said we got a Sasquatch at our house, we got a monster at our house, my officers could not put that down unless they had killed it and had a body. And at that point, there was a different protocol I won't go into, but they had to label it a prowler.
Yep. Janice, yesterday, it did say he was leaving footprints in the mud also. And to the comment before yours, I forget what that person's name was. No, he did not act traumatized by any of the reports. He actually was, shall we say, in a good mood. Do I think it was cryptid related? 100%. I can almost guarantee you it was an older female. Once she realized the boy was lost, she took him in, shall we say, and made sure that he was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
believe she's had a
boy,
couple.
they said even you go ahead, Cal. We just have a delay. It causes us to speak over each other. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Cal. You
Okay.
got the floor, man.
All right. I believe that it was an older female Squatch that had several children of her own, and she seen him, and that motherly instinct kicked back in, and she said, "Well, I'll take care of this one because he's young." And I believe that's the reason he wasn't wet, he wasn't hungry, he was dry, and he was warm.
I got a story for you guys that you'll really enjoy. Talking about being wet and everything. At my granny's house, they had a little dog, and on the stormiest night ever, it would actually be the worst. And this little dog would go to the front door and have a fit to go outside. I'm talking pouring down rain. They let the dog out. The dog would be out 20, 30 minutes. Let the dog back in, dry as it could be. And it would run along the house, sniffing the walls like it was following something outside. And whatever was outside was beating on the house, scratching on the house, pouring down rain, lightning, and thunder. That little dog went back outside on another stormy night. But this time, when the little dog came in, it came in with what appeared to be human semen on it. And they stopped letting the dog out, of course. But that little dog would have a fit to go out, and it would come back inside dry as a bone. Something was taking care of that little dog out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
Shell 001 Momo is a question mark. I believe Momo is a Sasquatch, but there's a lot of conflicting reports about it.
Yeah, nobody knows what Momo truly is.
Mark, it is something that is very evil. It is something that the witches, all the dark witches of the world, want to find that strengthens their power, their ability to cast evil spells. We're going to drop it at that, and there will be no more questions answered about it.
Tammy Lou, I don't believe in aliens personally. I don't know what Kirk and Cal's, but I believe aliens are a deception by the demons.
I believe
That's
they
just
are
my,
demons.
yeah, that's my personal belief.
Well, I'm going to put it to you like this. I'm not 100% sure what they are, but I very closely align with what Mike says about them. They're demonic in nature, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Janice is nailing it right on. I mean,
Exactly. The
but
boy should have suffered hypothermia, should have suffered frostbite to the feet at least, because of the fact they were wet, they were muddy, the temperatures were hovering right at 40 degrees. Perfect hypothermia weather and perfect weather for frostbite.
and the kid's core temperature was 98.6 degrees. He wasn't hungry, thirsty, dehydrated, and still had all of his coordination, and he was functioning normally.
Yeah,
And I would have gave anything to have been the first person to interview him.
yeah, I know what you mean. I
Yeah,
would have
really.
loved to have been that first person too, and I'd also like to be the person that interviews the law enforcement that found him. I will guarantee you I could trip him up and poke holes in his story that you could drive a tank through.
Did you notice the guy that the child came out with? He didn't look law enforcement to me. Just an opinion. He looked military to me.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. Although there are some law enforcement, as we all know, that are ex-military and still act in that manner. But yeah, I would lean toward what you're saying on that very much so. Brooks, you are right, dear.
Kind of like that. Kind of like a can of that alphabet soup. You know.
Yep,
I think
yep.
it was a three letter. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. That guy from Youngstown, Ohio, story about the dog man we know. Most don't say anything. My belief is it's all demonic. Remember, the Bible means hearts will fail. Planet X, I think that the cryptids are a flesh and blood creature that are a byproduct of the fallen mating with the humans, which created the Nephilim. But I believe the Nephilim are an attractant to demons because of the blood and the history they have together. They would somewhat be in the same family tree
Cate-
per se, and they would attract these demons. So the 25% of people that have paranormal activity after a cryptid encounter, I believe, is the residue or the connection of the demon that follows that cryptid that is left there. I experienced this at my granny's where we had both, and I know that in the name of Lord Jesus, the spirit part left, and you're left with the physical flesh and blood. That happened many times. I experienced that personally.
Guys, I started this show with 99% battery. My phone just says I'm down to 4% now. So if I cut out, that's why. And I have no
Okay.
clue as to why it's running down so fast. It should at that amount last 4 hours.
Yeah. Well, I got mine plugged up charging as we go that way because it don't drop.
Tell you what, I'm actually gonna relocate to where I can plug my phone in.
Okay.
Give me just a minute. And hopefully we'll be able to continue this without me being booted out or no battery.
Okay. If you do get booted out, just grab the same link and just jump right back in.
That I will.
Rebecca says she was under the understanding that demons were the spirits of the dead Nephilim and the Rephaim. A lot of people do believe that, and just from my reading and my understanding and the way I interpret it, the Nephilim wouldn't be the demons, I don't think, because you see, Goliath was also a Nephilim, which translated in Hebrew is giant, and they were here before the flood and after the flood. So I believe that the demon part were the watchers, the fallen, and because God talks about after they had made it and everything, in order for Him to stop them from doing that, remember He put enmity between them and their seed, where they were no longer able to mate to be able to reproduce an offspring. That's just my that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say, but not in those words, but same, same answer.
Right. Yes, Belinda, I believe something is. If I get booted off and it won't let me back in, like I've said before, anybody send me a friend request on Facebook. I'll answer your questions on there. But I'm not understanding why this battery is draining like it is.
You got kind of a spooky backdrop now. You got a dark backdrop.
Yeah, it's totally dark.
I'm sitting in my living room in my easy chair. I've
That's
only
what I
got
like.
one light on in here, so hey, it's comfortable.
I don't blame you. Hot summer days, turn the lights out, turn the air up.
Exactly, and that's what I
Exactly.
got.
Oh yeah.
So, what's weird is these creatures are, now this is what I find weird, and this is another opinion. These creatures are attracted to females. We know that, human females, more than they are
Correct.
males.
Correct.
They're attracted to children.
Children.
are a huge, and they're attracted
Now,
to animals.
they're also attracted especially to an autistic child. They have some type of affection for autism.
I have a theory for you, Kirk. You know I do. My theory on the autism child being an attractant to him is they come from the fallen. The fallen were demons. They hate us. We were a slap in their face because we can commit sin over and over and over and over. And because Jesus died, we can still go to heaven. They can't. They have no redemption. God says
Right.
that those, that are, that have physical needs are special children to Him. So if they
Right.
kill them, they are disgracing, blaspheming, perverting, twisting, and destroying what He said.
Yeah, that's a very good possibility. Although, one thing I will say, a few years back, and this goes back maybe 7, 8 years, I interviewed a child who was no longer a child. He was 21 at the time. But this happened back when he was like 6 years old. He was actually being attacked by a bull in a pasture. And a female Sasquatch ran out, punched the bull in the head, which knocked it to the ground. And then she proceeded to stomp on its neck several times till it died. And then she just turned around and went right back in the woods. The kid's grandfather witnessed the entire thing. It happened down in West Virginia, just outside of Beckley. Kid had no reason to lie. He actually was what they call suffers Asperger's syndrome, which is a very high functioning autism. Many
Yes.
people believe that Vladimir Putin actually has Asperger's syndrome. So let's face it, if he can run Russia with it, you know, yeah, this kid can probably tell the truth about what was happening.
Shell, is your power going out at home or just on the net?
Got some weird things happening to people in our feed tonight, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. This is not right. I mean, Decoy, you mean West Virginia
They
outside of
said
Beckley?
Elon Musk has it.
Hell, Elon Musk owns about everything, might as well.
yeah.
He might as well own everything else.
Another funny thing, he's got the money. My oldest son has it, and from the day he was born all the way up, he was 4 years old reading the newspaper. Um, he has taught himself how to use computers. He actually built his own computer now, and it's
Rebecca, you
amazing
are
what they're
correct.
able to.
Yes, it is. As
Yeah,
Rebecca says, Sir Isaac Newton was supposedly was Asperger's syndrome also.
yeah, I know. They say people who suffer from Asperger's are very intelligent, and I know a little boy that has it, and yeah, he's very intelligent.
Yeah, Tammy, you're right about that. It does. It seems to draw the paranormal and the cryptids into them for some reason. We're speculating on what it might be. Um, we really don't know what the reason is, but yes, it does draw them into them very much so.
Jan-
I like that, Janice.
That's a good one, Janice.
But
She's pretty much saying.
I will throw
Go
this
ahead,
out
Craig.
to Janice. Unfortunately, there is a female researcher I know who is blonde who does claim to have been raped twice by a Bigfoot. So evidently, they did like at least the one blonde.
Yeah, really.
I'll
If they
tell you
came
all
back,
something,
they came back again.
and get your all's opinion on this. All jokes aside, I was talking to some of the elders in the town to where they tell me a lot of things that's going on and things. And we were talking about my channel and everything, and I was telling this person, I said, I'm getting a lot of people that are frustrated saying I'm not getting enough boots on the ground, stuff out in the woods. And my uncle, as I was growing up, being young, he always said if y'all are going to go out there spook hunting, you're going to have better odds with a female than you're going to by yourself or with a bunch of males. And I always
Correct.
thought, it was this big joke, right? Well,
Not at all.
no, the elders are telling me right now, Mike, you're not having any. Now I can't use her name. I don't know how she would feel about me using her name right now. You probably know who I'm talking about. A majority of the people probably know who I'm talking about. But me and this young lady were together, and she wanted to have a an encounter. So we loaded up, and she had been studying with me for a long time. You know who I'm talking about.
Sure.
We were very close, and I took her out, and she got within about 50 yards of a cryptid. It was drinking from the lake. She got to witness it. She got to shine her flashlight on it, and then she got to see its footprint after it left. and she took pictures of it. She has her foot beside the footprint to show the size. There's a photograph of her there. I probably can't share this information. I don't know how she would feel about that right now, but she had really good visible proof. And just out of respect, I won't show that unless she was to give me the okay to be able to show it. But
Right.
she had a very good encounter. Now, I don't know what people they talk about this class 1, class 2, class 3, whatever. I don't get into that shit.
I don't either.
I just know she was 50 yards from it. She saw it drinking from the lake, and she was able to walk up and put her foot in its footsteps and to be able to see it. And to her, it was like a moment of reckoning. It was like, I've read about it, I've studied with you, we've talked about it. Oh my God, I am standing in its footprint. It's here, you know?
Yeah, sure. Actually, Hank and I had a guest researcher and her fiance come to an investigation with us about 4 years ago now. And literally, she got within 15 foot of a dog man. And needless to say, it scared the hell out of her. I got her away to safety as fast as possible, but yeah, that was one cryptid researcher that once she actually saw one in person decide that she didn't want to be a cryptid researcher anymore.
I
That's
think
easily
that,
explained.
Yes, Brooks, you are 100% true.
you know,
Oh yeah,
think,
Brooks, that's absolutely true.
I agree.
They smell it and they come, and that's what draws them in.
Yep.
You know, my daughter and my sister, whenever they was hunting with me, they enjoyed it until they were physically touched. And I think it was trying to think who I was talking to. I believe it was maybe Kirk I was talking to. And Kirk said he could tell after that encounter, after they were on the show a few more times,
Yes, it
that
was me.
they had lost
Yep.
their
Interest.
interest. They were afraid. They were no longer able to, I don't know the word I'm looking for, able to investigate for being afraid, maybe. Something changed them.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
A lot of people, once they have that encounter, do change completely. No, Zach. Yes and no. Cryptids can be from hell. Like a werewolf is, in my opinion, nothing more than a dog man that is possessed by a demon.
I agree. I would
So
agree to
do I.
that.
Yep.
Um,
Wholeheartedly.
yeah. And Kirk is
Janice,
good.
you probably have been.
Oh, yes, Janice, for sure. And that's the one thing I like about having Kirk on the show. Kirk is that why in the road as far as my beliefs, and he kind of gives a different spectrum to the show. And the good thing is we're all open to everybody's opinions and theories and everything, and we're not going one way. Like me and Cal or me and Kirk may not agree on the same thing, but we respectively listen to each other and take it into consideration. That's where you'll find the
Sure.
truth in everything. That's where
Sure,
you'll
Yeah.
we
find the
agree to
truth.
disagree and we stay open to each other's ideas. And by doing that, that's how we get at the truth.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't we? We don't. I personally don't know everything. And if
And to be
I
honest,
was,
I would rather have a panel of people with different beliefs. That way we can narrow the gap on things, That I think it comes into play. I think it's important.
Brooke, please send me a friend's request on Facebook. I think you've hit on a couple things I'd like to expound on a little bit further with you.
You might go ahead. You can tell her your Facebook. That way she can find you.
Kirk, Kirk, Reed, Reed. And like I say, everybody can send me a friend's request. I'll talk to anybody. But Brooks has actually brought up a couple things about the fallen angels and the demons. And I think she is kind of on the right track. And I appreciate her being on here tonight, watching. And I think if she puts her mind to it, decides to do it, she could actually make a very good researcher.
Paula said she's got a brother that knows everything.
I saw that.
I have a sister that knows everything.
Don't we all?
I have a brother that knows everything too, but
yeah, there's an old saying about that, but I'm going to leave that alone.
Exactly. Yeah. I myself will too. Like I said, I'm learning every day. The day I stop learning, they might as well throw dirt over my face.
Oh yeah, you learn something new every day. And especially with cryptics, it's hard to think that you know everything because you're learning every time you go out in the field. You'll learn something new.
No, Mark, that is not true.
Yeah, I'm even learning about that right now from the chiefs on the investigation I'm doing right now. The native chiefs, they got on to me for making a difference in between werewolves and dogman. They said you do not say dogman here. Dogman is a word. Dogman and a werewolf, they say, and a googway, this is what they tell me, are the same. And I asked them, I said, how are they the same? And they said, a miniature poodle doesn't look like a Great Dane, but they're the same thing. They're a dog. They all look different, sizes, snouts, colors, and temperaments.
Yeah, some have worse tempers than others.
Now, I can and will say, as I said, a werewolf is nothing more than a dogman that is possessed by a demon, in my opinion. But dogmen, googway, Sasquatch, all of them can be possessed by a demon. And it seems like when it is called up that the shaman prefer to call up Gugway or to possess Dogman more than they prefer to possess Sasquatch.
Right.
And even
footprint. I would love to see that footprint.
Guys, even with my phone plugged in, now I'm down to 2%.
That is weird. Yeah. Latricia, email me that footprint. I'd love to see that. Zacharias, I couldn't wait to get to your question because I have an idea. I know where your information came from. No, I do not believe there are spider cryptids, and I do not believe that cryptids look like what they've been eating.
No.
A cryptid is a cryptid. If they eat more monkeys than they eat, bullfrogs, they're not going to look like a monkey and not a bullfrog.
No.
Because if you look like what you ate, then I'd look like a half cow, half fish.
Yeah, me too. And I can say this as far as giant spiders, and Cal may be able to shed some light on this. Over in Iraq, Afghanistan, there are what's called camel spiders that do get very large. Would I call them giants? Not necessarily, but
they get as big as a dinner plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get one of those in your sleeping bag.
Well, that's what they say. Check your bunk and everything before you lay down.
Shell, I actually have heard what I would call speaking. Um, I don't know if it was a dog man or if it was a Sasquatch, but one of the two can mimic a human voice exactly, make it sound just like the human that it is trying to mimic.
I have a story for you on that one. I'm going to end up blowing my book. Uh, I have uh, I have heard him talk. Um, I heard
Yeah.
him say my mom's name. My granny, she heard him say her name. We have heard voices we thought was my granny that wasn't. I will say the voice I heard did not sound like anybody I knew. It was a dog sounding guttural growl talk. It said my mom's
Okay, we froze up.
You froze up, Mike.
He's done that what twice now?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah, this time he's froze up good.
Yep. As far as the dogmen talking, as I say, I don't know which it was, whether it was
I
Sasquatch or whether it was a dogman that mimicked the voice, but I can guarantee you we saw a dogman in that area less than 5 minutes before the voice was calling my partner's name.
I've heard him speak.
Am I still frozen, guys?
No, now you're
Not now.
okay.
You're
Yeah,
loud and
something
clear now.
happened. I lost everything for a second. I lost feed and everything.
Hmm. Well, like they said, they're screwing with us, and there ain't a whole lot we can do about it.
Nope.
Look what Belinda just said.
Yeah, you're right, Belinda. Nobody wants to hear the truth, especially the government.
Well, Belinda, the funny thing is, I actually got a call earlier in the week, and no phone number showed up on my caller ID, but yet the phone was ringing, so I picked it up, and it was simply a woman's voice that said, "We're coming for you," and then hung up.
Man, as long as I've been single, I'd be like, "What time you going to be here?"
do I need to change shirts? Is this one got
Yeah,
sweat stains or anything?
you making dinner or what? uh, I'm going to talk about something controversial, probably, and y'all are going to know that I may end up maybe peeing somebody off on this subject. It's not
Oh yeah.
intentional. Calvin knows where I'm going. It's not intentional. It's not intentional. I promise. Uh, with the utmost respect, and not trying to uh, make anybody look different or anything. I think in one of my videos, I may have accidentally answered one of my questions. I think I possibly, and I've spoke with Cal about this. I think I possibly duplicated what some to think was a portal. Okay. Now, I was so interested in this that I sent it into an investigator that's a forensic psychologist to run it through filters and through everything that they do that is admissible in court. What they use is admissible.
Right.
I done a video where I walked down that road, and at this place, I felt like I was really heavily being watched. And I have that happen to me at places, but I hardly ever have it happen enough to where I turn around and I walk out. And this place had that feeling, And I did. I walked out, and I'm not afraid to admit that I walked out. A lot of people say, "Was you armed?" Yes, I was carrying a 9mm and an AK-47. Uh, when I was leaving, I remembered a lot of people asking me. They said, "Mike, next time you're out, would you please turn the camera around backwards and film backwards as you're walking out?" So I did it. On my way out, I was also watching my back because and Cal knows that when you have a threat at your six, you don't turn your back on a threat. So
Right.
as I was
No.
going out, I was watching my back, I was watching my front, and I'm watching, the 3 and 9 o'clock. So as I'm moving out, I'm watching, and then when I get back and I play the video of the camera, at the end of the camera, at the end of the trail, it appears to be the same thing was shown in another man's video. I won't say no names. That appeared to be a portal. So I thought, okay, what did we find? So I sent it in as I sent the other man's in to the same person, okay? And it came back as light refraction, which was causing an optical illusion. Now, I didn't understand exactly what would cause that, so I asked him to please explain to me as if he was explaining it in court, layman's terms. Tell me what's
Right.
going on. He said a camera is made mostly to take photographs indoors or in an outdoor setting, not at long distances down what he would call a hallway or a pathway, okay, or a tunnel. The camera doesn't know what I'm trying to take a picture of, so the camera is having trouble trying to figure out what to focus on. What is the main objective of the picture to focus on? You got moving leaves. You have different shapes, colors, designs. You got wind that's moving stuff, different movement, different distances. So the camera's all over the place trying to determine what to focus on. And whenever the camera focuses on something, it has to unfocus on something else, he said, which causes a blur, or what they some of them call a color spot, which can appear to be a mirrored effect, a prism, or it can also be light refraction, he said, which can cause an optical illusion. So I think I may have accidentally re I don't know how you would say it. I caused it to happen again accidentally. Your all's opinions.
Okay, Mike. I know the picture you're talking about. And I actually brought up it may be a portal. Uh, Portals are a true thing, and as I said, I had told you and Cal both that we had encountered one. The EMF meter proved it. The radiation meter proved it. We actually could see something in it. It did not come through, though. I could not make out what it was, whether it was Sasquatch, whether it was a dog man, whether it was something else. You couldn't make it out because it was literally pixelated. It would remind you a lot of, shall we say, that movie Predator.
I want to
Yes,
share with you.
exactly right, Brooks. Kind of like the heat on the road.
Okay, I want to share with you what I learned. I spoke to three different, uh, a preacher and three different preachers, three different religions, and I told them about the portal.
Yeah,
They all concurred and agreed on this, and I agree there are portals. I'm not saying there's not portals. Let me get that out of the way. I believe there is portals. I'm not saying they're not. They said, as far as a portal goes, flesh and blood cannot enter a portal. Flesh cannot be a spirit. Spirit cannot be a flesh. They cannot become each other. God doesn't allow that. There's a big scripture they gave me. I've got it all wrote down. Behold, Jesus stands at the door. Jesus stopped it. They say that does not happen. Now, this is the thing. Demons can give you the perception of a portal with anything coming out of it, a dead relative. But in the case that we're seeing cryptids come out of them, these demons know we're hunting cryptids. We're not hunting our lost relatives. So they're going to show us a cryptid because that's what we're hunting. And he said a demon will go anywhere they're welcomed. You go looking for it, the old saying, he said, you'll find it. And all three from different religions agreed flesh and blood are not going through this portal. The demons are deceiving us.
Possibly. You know,
I know it's deep.
I would
Yeah, real deep.
I would agree with them until I saw that, until I took the radiation readings, until I took the EMF readings. The EMF was actually 7 times the life threatening amount. The radiation was 10 times life threatening amount.
No, I believe that
we
you've seen
walked
a
away
portal.
from
I
it.
believe that.
Yeah, we walked away from it, came back 20 minutes later. We absolutely, with the same meters, picked up nothing but background radiation. So that means something happened to produce that radiation, to produce that electromagnetic frequency, and then it was as if it was flipped off with a switch. Well, in your natural world, that's not how radiation works. If you have a source of radiation that is a natural source, that source is going to be there hundreds of thousands of years. It just doesn't come and go.
See, I believe that you encountered it. I don't disbelieve the portal part, and I believe that probably what you all found, just my belief, is you ran onto something worse than a cryptid, in my opinion, a demon
Oh,
that
it
was,
probably was.
because I mean I'm sure in the spirit world, and this is getting deep for me because I don't even like to go into the spirit part, but I'm sure that they travel differently than we travel. That they, but also here's you a theory. God threw Satan to earth, right? And the demons.
Sure.
They're on earth. Then they talk about the firmament, right? Nothing's new under the sun. You can't leave the firmament.
Right.
So if you think about it, you know what earth really is? It's a
Earth is a
prison.
prison.
It's a
Right.
prison.
Exactly right. And
And
I've brought that up to many other cryptid researchers, and I've been told I'm crazy. I've been told all kinds of things about it. I've been called a flat earther, and no, I'm not. But regardless, it seems that most of your cryptid researchers do not want to mix biblical accounts with physical accounts that are seen.
right. And if you think about it, you have a Bigfoot or a dog man or a rake or a googway or walking in the woods, and you have a demon could possess them very easily, just like they did the pigs in the Bible.
Exactly
And
right.
you get a demon inside of a creature that big, and
Yeah,
already doesn't really like us, and then you get something in it that hates us. That's
exactly
terrible.
right.
You're in a
Yeah,
They
bad
don't.
situation.
Yeah, because they
exactly
don't want to
right.
give you.
You're in a very bad situation.
Yeah, they don't want to give you hugs. That's for sure.
Well, if they hug you, it's not going to be in a good way.
No.
Be a hug you never forget.
Yeah. Be a hug
There
you
was a
never lived
person.
through.
There was a person that I don't remember his name, but he asked me to please repeat what I was saying before I got cut off, and I don't remember what we was even talking about. So if he remembers, I'll try to uh, get back to what we were talking about. I don't remember.
Decoy, I already do that.
Yes, we do, Decoy.
Tammy's got her retirement plan all figured out, don't she?
Yes, she does.
Tammy, I actually lived down in Florida for, I guess, about a year and a half. And yeah, you are 100% right.
I would just be happy with living in the hills of the over there in Missouri or Arkansas, just disappearing.
Personally, I kind of like Pennsylvania, but Kentucky is real good also.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I got a good friend up in Kentucky.
Hmm. So do I.
Gee, just wonder who that might be.
She says, sounded like mom or grandma. Yeah, my grandma was sick at the time, Salty Mama, and she had a bell that she would ring whenever she needed help. And it got to the point to where this creature was actually outside mimicking her bell ringing. And whenever my mom or the girls would go check on her, my granny would be asleep. And they later found out it would ring a fake bell. And then when they would go to check on my granny, it was standing outside the window watching them walk past.
Yep, they will do that.
They are tricksters now. They
And when
know
they
it. They
start,
know all the
yeah,
tricks.
they start doing that. That's scary when they start doing that. You know, that night I shot that one, I'll never ever forget. Because I always wondered what it was, and it had bothered my granny for so long, and she had been sick for so long. And in her younger years, when she wasn't sick, it bothered me, but she was still able, to get up and around. And in her later years, when she had her stroke and was unable to get up, it scared her a lot. And I remember whenever I went out there, and part of the reason I done it was because I knew that it was bothering her, and we shot it, and it bled, and I was happy. That was the happiest I'd ever been. I was like, finally you got yours. And it did. It stayed away for a while after it happened, after I shot it. But then,
Like I
the next,
like I told you before, these things are flesh and blood. They bleed, they die. Okay.
Yep. Put a bullet in
I
one.
would.
I guarantee you get blood.
Oh, I have a good feeling that this one died. As well as I do, when you hit an artery or an organ, the color of blood you get, and that's the color of blood I had all the way to the chicken house.
Oh, you had
Okay.
bright red. Okay.
There's that
It
little, sorry
died.
about that, little werewolf is scared of its shadow. It sees a shadow, it'll bark at it unless it comes at it, then it runs off. Uh, but yeah, my dad had a good point about that night. Whenever I shot it, it ran behind the chicken house, and of course, I was stopped from going back there until the adults got there. And then later on, all the adults seen it running off, and it had something over its back. Their first thought was it was stealing one of Grandpa's pigs.
Yeah.
Well, the next day, all the pigs were there. All the sacks of feed is there. So my dad says, you know what? It wasn't carrying a pig. It was
That was
carrying.
another one.
That was the one I
Yeah.
shot.
Yep.
And he said if you would have went behind that chicken house, it was waiting on you. That's why that injured one ran to it. Is it
Yep,
was going to get me if I would have went back there.
that's exactly right.
So my mom probably saved my life that night when they stopped us from going back there.
No, I'm sure she did.
We were young. We were 16 years old and young, dumb, and and we was just going to go hunt it down.
Uh huh. Yeah, that's a good thing that you did not. Your mother did right by you, whether you knew it at the time or not.
We were very frustrated because we wanted to go back there. Calvin said if he's going in and out, they're having a bad storm right now. Is what's happening.
Yeah, we're actually getting one here also. It's not real bad yet, but it is what it is.
Janice has a lot of information. We may have to add her to the team.
That would be good. I think we should.
I'm not going to say what she does right now, but I know her off camera, and
Okay, good.
she has a master's degree and is a professional at what she does. She has a professional job, and she's
As
very
long as
knowledgeable.
it's not weld engineering, I don't need any competition.
Yeah, she doesn't do that. But she is very well educated and has been in some. I don't want to give her away too much, but she's been in some very important cases. We'll say she was influential.
Very good.
Shell says, "So Kirk, you're not crazy."
No, I'm not crazy at all.
you know, when I was young and living through all that at Granny's house, there was times, and I'm not afraid to admit it, there was times, honestly, that I didn't want to be there. I was scared.
Oh,
And,
I'm sure of that.
we would, as kids, I remember telling my mom many times, Mom, can we please leave before dark? She'd say, We're going to go see Granny. And it's before she was sick. And I would always say, Can we please leave before dark? Because walking from that front door to the car at night when we would leave, it scared the hell out of me because there was times we'd be walking to the car and it would whistle, it would
Yeah,
holler,
yeah.
or you see the damn thing in the backyard and it's not close to you, it's 100 yards away, but you see it run, and as a kid, it scared you to death. I mean, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was bad, and I just remember, being in. You were afraid. A lot of people. I don't know if they know or not. Uh, Cal had to. He got knocked off by a storm, guys. The old houses, how they were. You walked in them, the old farmhouses. You walked in them, and they creaked. They made
Oh,
noises.
yeah.
The windows were wooden. They were. It was what it was. And
Sure.
whenever you would go to the bathroom, you had to walk past the back door, and the bathroom was on the darkest end of the house on the corner.
Of
And
course.
oh yeah, and I walked by that door one night, and I'll tell y'all a story. It's going to be in the book. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. I walked past the door, and nothing happened. And to us, that was like, thank God, nothing happened. So I'm in the bathroom doing my thing. And the bathrooms back in the old days, they had the little square window, the little rectangle window.
Oh, yeah.
That's all they had. Well, they opened from the outside, and I have no idea why they did. And I was in there, and it opened, and a hairy hand came through the window. And I remember the weirdest thing to me, though, is the fingers. They didn't have no, like a lot of hair on them, but they were pink. They weren't like our color, they were pink. And I remember that as a kid, it's what stuck in my mind was how pink the fingers were. And it like reached in Didn't do anything. It just reached in, kind of, put its hand on the wall. I busted out of that door, man. I was gone. And my mom ended up calling my dad, and he had to come and get me. I left. It scared the hell out of me. And that window, whenever we got older, we had measured it. That window was 12 feet off the ground.
Well, that would probably put it at being about a 14-foot tall Sasquatch then. So it's a pretty big boy.
You think that was the 22-inch footprint one?
I would pretty well bet on it.
And that just, and the older people like my granny, whenever you would talk to them, they would tell you, and they knew, they would say, Bigfoot's out there, but there's also something else.
Right. Oh, yeah.
The something else, they never put a name on it. They would just always say it was eviler, it was more sinister, it'll hurt you. But the Bigfoot wasn't really renowned as something that would hurt us. We was always told, if you back it in a corner, it will hurt you. If you hurt it, it might hurt you. But Granny would always say, if you leave it alone, it'll leave you alone. It's just curious. But she would say,
for the most part, that is pretty well correct.
And then she said, the other thing, she said, it will hurt you.
Yeah, and that's 100% correct.
And my friend that I knew, that my mom knew before me, he grew up with my mom and them. He was one of those rough, tough, big guys that fought all the time, wasn't scared of nothing. He said, I'll come down there and take care of whatever it is. He thought back then, this is before I was born, and he thought back then it was some pervert because my grandpa was gone and it was my granny, 6 girls at home.
Right.
So he said, I'll take care of it. So he was sitting on the couch one night. Here it comes. It starts doing its thing. He runs out the front door, runs to the back of the house. He comes back, white as a sheet, falls on the couch. He wouldn't tell anybody what happened.
Imagine that.
Well, 2 years ago, I got a hold of his daughter, and he was dying of COVID. And I was trying to see if he would at least, say what had happened. He left me a letter. I done a video on it. I probably need to redo it. It's when I first started my channel. I had background noise. But I read the letter, and he said what had happened pretty much was he had got to the back of the house, and it was standing at the back of the house eating scraps. And he said it was taking the scraps, and instead of eating from the front of the mouth, it had like a dog's mouth. It was shoving the food in the side of its mouth, right? And he said it was shoving the food in the side of its mouth, and it had the food all over it, like it was just sloppy eating, And he said it turns its head sideways at him, it smiles, and it goes, hello. He said, I knew at that moment, if it wanted me dead, I was dead. He said, yep. I knew without a doubt this was an apex predator that would have killed me.
Yep.
And he ran. He actually ran. And never spoke about it for 50 years until he wrote that letter. 50 years. That's how scared he was.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine being afraid of something that bad?
Well, I actually had talked to a guy by the name of Mr. Hall in Leslie County, Kentucky, who had an encounter with a female Bigfoot when he was 13 years old. She grabbed him. He was swimming in a pond and not doing real good. He was just learning to swim. She grabbed him and pulled him out of the pond, basically to save his life. He took off running, and it scared him so bad. He was 81 the first time he told anybody about it.
That is.
So,
Yeah, and I agree with what Sharon just said. It makes it so much worse when they talk.
yep.
If there was one, and I never said this was one because I never knew, and I'm telling everybody right now, I don't know what this was. We were playing hide and go seek one night, and I was about 15, 16 years old. And we had a yard light that was out in the front of the circle drive in front of the house. Had a lot of shade trees that would block the light. You could still see a little bit under the trees, but not a lot. I was hiding at the back of the house in the dark behind Grandpa's little building that he called his shop. My cousin worked out all the time. He was at Gold's Gym all the time. He's a big guy, and I thought he was hiding beside me. And we're standing behind the building, and I look up at the front yard at the tree that we were using for base, and I see my big cousin walk up to the tree. And I say, this is a good place to hide. They haven't found us. Whatever it was, whoever it was, it replied back to me. Did not sound like an animal. It was a deeper voiced, older man sounding, but it wasn't an older man. You could tell by how big it was and the way it moved. But it said, yeah, I know. I hide here all the time and watch you guys, and you never see me. And I ran. I remember I ran for my life because I knew all my cousins were in the front yard. I could see them. There was nobody should have been there. And that's what he said to me. And I ran. I don't know what it was. If it was a cryptid, that's the first sentence I've ever heard one speak. I don't know what that was.
It was Sasquatch.
And that really scared me. I mean, it shook me. That was, when you're hiding and you talk to something that you think's your cousin and it talks back to you, but you notice that's not a voice you've ever heard, and you're in the pitch black, and the closest place to safety is all the way to the front of the yard and in the front door, because the back door is always locked and in the dark.
Right.
You're out there alone, And, I had a friend, I won't say his name because I don't have permission to use his name, but he thought we were full of it. He said, Mike, you guys are full of it. He's like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Well, Granny said, bring him out here. Right. So we brought him down one night, and he said, let's walk to the back of the fence and just see if we can hear anything. Well, I really didn't want to. My cousin really didn't want to. My other cousin didn't want to, but we were like, the only way he's ever going to know is to take him. So we walked to the back of the fence. It's dark as hell at the back of the 10 acres. And it turns into trees back there, which goes down to the creek, which goes to the river, to the lake.
Of course.
We get down there. Nothing's happening. The field's grown up, It's almost baling time. You got the good grass up, It's all tall. We get to the fence. He decides he's going to start whistling.
Oh, no.
We're like, dude, no.
You don't do that.
Don't do that. And he's like, oh, there ain't nothing, And then he starts making like growling noises and making whoops. So me, my other two cousins, we start kind of working our way back to the house. I'm not going to lie. We were getting scared.
I would too.
We're like, dude, you don't do that out here. All of a sudden, something comes from under the barbed wire fence on all fours and is taking its front hands and is swiping at my buddy's legs trying to grab him. He screams, takes off running. We all run to the house, and he filled his pants.
Imagine that.
He never went back to that house again, ever.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
You could not get him to go back.
See, unfortunately with me, I'd have been out there the next day trying to figure out what it was, searching.
We went back out there the next day, and whenever we went out there, down where we lived, there used to be a lot of oil wells and coal mines. And
Sure.
when the
Same
oil
here.
okay, so when the oil companies are done, they just leave their pump houses out there like little buildings. They don't take them down, they just leave them.
Yeah, they're just abandoned.
Well, them things are all over out there, and they got hay in the bottom of them. Perfect houses. Well, he walked up to one night, and we smelt something. And we walk over, and we open the door, and when we open the door, two eyes looking right at us. I mean, two big eyes. And we
Right.
we screamed, and it was standing just eye to eye. And my older cousin finally he shines the light. It's a deer upside down, gutted, and its feet are tied up in the top rafters with grapevines.
Yeah.
And we never went back. We never did. Uh, we never went back to that little thing. We used to play inside of there. It was our little playhouse, but not after that.
No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't have either.
Somebody
You
ended up
know,
finding us, hung upside down.
yeah, it's like that one area that we would research in when we woke up that morning and found that raccoon turned inside out, stuck on that tree that wasn't there the night before. That that sent a pretty good message.
We had a place. I remember. I'm not. I can't give the name of it. I may feature it in a future film. But it was a place, a huge abandoned factory. Okay, and this factory could not have been abandoned in a worse place. In the river bottoms, 3-story, huge building. Okay, they made airplane parts in it. If that tells you anything,
Mm-hmm.
huge building. We went in there one night. Wasn't supposed to be in there. We're upstairs. We're looking in all the rooms, and poking around where we're not supposed to be.
Of course.
We get down to the bottom floor, where all the windows are at, and the room is painted black. The whole room. There's a white 5-point star on the floor with a circle around it, and goat heads everywhere, cut off. So we're like,
Hmm.
we probably shouldn't be in here. So we go up the stairs, to go back out the way we came in. We hear something walking down below us in one of the old offices. So we start walking faster, and we start hearing this thing coming up the steps, man. Get away from me. So we took off running, and we could hear it running up the steps. We ended up running out of there, and we was running to our car. And when we was running to our car, we could hear something like whistling at us. I don't know if that was somebody or what was in there, man, but we were gone.
Right. Mike, do you see Lenita Bryant's comment? Our elders said that they would trade with the forest people. They aren't creatures or animals. Animals don't trade. And yes, that does go back to a thought that Sasquatch are actually nothing more than an ancient tribe of people, that they were the first people here in this land, and that all us humans came later. So the Native Americans may very well have a point there.
Yeah, because they even called them the shy tribe, right?
Correct.
And another thing I was thinking about too, I'm glad Lanita brought that up. If they would have looked at them as an animal, then whenever they ate their children and took their women, they wouldn't have called them cannibals.
Correct.
To be a cannibal, they would have to be humanish.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's got a good point. I think I know who they're talking about there. Uh, let's see. We'll leave that one alone. Choctaw Chief Jerry Williams would be a great guest, Mike. He brings the native and Christian views. Okay. Reger Davis. I'm going to talk, and then I'm going to let Kirk talk. I'm sure me and Kirk's talked about this many times off camera, so I'll start making the enemies, I guess. Jerry Williams, if I know who you're talking about, has a channel, Jerry Williams, the Bigfoot expert. All right, I'm going to start here. This is my opinion. I'm not basing this as fact. I want everybody to know I'm not calling this fact. Number one, I have problems with the word expert in anything cryptid. I do not believe there's any experts in the field unless it's our government that has a body that we don't know about. But as far as us and people, we're not experts. We are making educated guesses on evidence. I believe that the very last page of the Bible pretty much sums up right here where you're saying he mixes native and Christian views. Okay, now the very last page of the Bible gives us a very strong warning. Those of you who would add to or take away from the word will suffer all the wrath of the Bible. We have to be careful about mixing Native American beliefs with Christian, what I call facts, because I'm a Christian. I am also Indian, which means I love my people. I love my tribe. I love their beliefs. I respect them. But when it comes to my faith, Jesus Christ is my Savior. A lot of our beliefs in the Native American tribes came from not hearing the word of Jesus. We had not heard the word when all this started. Later, as I know full bloods, chiefs, so forth, that are full bloods, that still carry the traditions, are saved by Jesus Christ and know the difference now because they've heard the word. We cannot, I don't think there's anything more dangerous than somebody that knows a little bit of Christianity and knows Native American, and then they try to put it together and say, there was a great snake in the sky that fought, and this is how it was created. It tells you in Genesis in the first chapter how we were created and how everything came to be. And my God was not in the world. And the difference between my God and other gods is his grave is empty. And he is outside of time. He is the Alpha and Omega. And I'll leave it at that. And Kirk, I'll let you.
Mike, I couldn't have said it better myself because my views 100% are the same as yours. Number one, there are no experts in this field. And I don't even believe that the government, even if they have a body, are experts about it. They would still be learning. Yes, I too have Native American in me. Yes, I am a Christian. And what you said about one of the most dangerous things is somebody that tries to mix Christianity and Native American tradition because, yes, each has its own place. Being the fact that I am a Christian, Jesus Christ is my Savior, I have to say that, just like you said, no, there are no snake gods in the sky. You know, it just follow the Bible.
That's what I believe. And I think Ernesto's talking about, he wanted to know if we believe that speaking about skinwalkers can cause a Bigfoot to turn into a skinwalker. I believe is what he was asking earlier. I just couldn't get to it. I don't believe they change from one to the other. I believe they stay what they are.
They stay what they are. That much I do know is true. But yet, the Sasquatch can be possessed by a demon at the behest of a skinwalker, and a skinwalker is a changed shaman. A skinwalker basically is a shaman that has went through the rituals that it takes to change because it makes them immortal, they believe.
There's a lady that I spoke to that y'all are going to get to hear about when I release my video. Her father went to a seance that was in progress, and he said he grabbed it. He didn't say a man. He grabbed it. And he said if I would have let go of it, it would have killed me. And it bit her dad on the arm. When he went to the hospital, the doctor said, "What kind of animal bit you?" He said it wasn't an animal, and that's all he would say.
Imagine that.
That's crazy. That's, well, there's the answer right there. Rebecca says it. That's exactly what it is.
Really high dark magic involved. Yes, very much so.
You know, even the Native Americans that are over there and that I've spoke to doing what I'm doing right now, they are so afraid of the shamans. They don't want you to mention their name.
That
And
is correct.
and I have accidentally mentioned their name, and they all immediately start pleading the blood of Jesus on that name.
Yes, they do.
And you know me, I'm sitting there, I'm this investigator, and next thing you know, I blurt two shamans' names out, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa," and you know, it's not on purpose. It's they still practice the old ways, and I got a question.
You're right, Janice.
I'm going to say something. It might be a little controversy. James Leroy Hart, the guy, in the Girl Scout murder case. Okay, I'm not going to say that I feel he was innocent, but I'm going to say from a law enforcement security background, I can see why he was found not guilty. Because beyond a reasonable doubt to convict somebody, right? Okay, the footprint at the murder scene, 2 feet print were found that were not his or his size.
Correct.
Fingerprint found inside the tent, which was a female's fingerprint, and a fingerprint found on the flashlight on the outside of the tent were not his. Okay? Semen found at the scene couldn't have been his because it had sperm in it and he'd had a vasectomy in prison. But they still sent it off, still had the DNA, and guess what? The DNA was inconclusive. It was not his. Okay?
Imagine that.
And not only that, it gets even better. His own deputy in a court of law said the picture that was found in the cave that linked Jean Leroy Hart to the murder, I saw that same picture in the sheriff's desk 2 years prior. His own deputy. And then it gets even better than that. Where they arrested him at was 35 miles as the crow flies through the forest over at Grove, Oklahoma, into Missouri and Arkansas. 35 miles. You don't do that in those hills over there on foot in a day.
No.
So I can see the reasonable doubt.
Unfortunately, and this is going to be a touchy subject to some, but some may not even know about it. The Tate Yablonka murders that, quote, Charles Manson had done. We all know Charles Manson was convicted, but yet at the trial, Charles Manson never told any of those people to go kill those people. Charles said that he never told them to. They said he never told them to. But, quote, they thought that that's what Charlie would want. So, if Charles Manson never sent them to kill those people, had no knowledge of them going and killing those people, how was he convicted of murder? At the most, he should have been convicted of being an accessory after the fact. But once
I'll tell you
more,
why I think they said they would never execute him because they was studying his mind. I think it was a
right.
way for them to be able to study him. It was a project. It was a study.
And that's what I was just going to get to, was the fact that now he wasn't guilty, but they wanted him. And when they want you for some reason or another, they will find a way to get you.
You know, whenever he was arrested, James Leroy Hart, he said something that I'll probably always remember when I read it. He looked at the sheriff and he said, "You never pin this one on me."
Smith, your aunt followed the footprints in the snow till the footprints disappeared. How is that possible? I'm assuming you mean she was following a set of cryptid footprints, be it Sasquatch or be it Dogman. How is that possible? Don't know. It just happens. Some speculate that it's a portal. Others, the theory that it goes back to this as a prison planet, and something is able to, shall we say, beam me up, Scotty, like on Star Trek. But yeah, it happens. And I have no explanation for it, never have. I followed a set of tracks that was 70 tracks long, and they literally stopped. Never could figure it out. And I'm very good at tracking.
I have a theory. You know I do.
Yeah, and I want to hear it, Mike.
They done what the natives. They washed the natives. The natives washed them a lot. I think they backtrack. And I brought that up to my granny one day too. They'll walk backwards into the same tracks. But another thing,
not this one, because literally I was within 10 minutes of it laying down those tracks. I was following in its tracks.
But I asked my granny, and her dad, my grandpa, was a full-blood Cherokee. And
Right.
I asked her one time, I said, "Granny, how did those footprints go out there in the middle of the field in the snow and just disappear?" And you know what? She looked at me, and it's kind of like it was a dumb question. And she goes, "Well, duh, the damn things fly."
And my phone is so close to dying. I'm at 1% right now. We're going to have to touch on that one on another podcast, because I have some good information on that one, especially in Missouri.
Okay. And we need to thank Ernesto, too, for the $20.
Yes, Ernesto. Thank you very much.
And, we're probably putting more out there than we should, Ernesto. We probably is why we do get hit pretty hard. But I feel like that if we don't push the First Amendment, we'll lose the First Amendment. And we should have the right as anybody else to talk about anything that we want to talk about.
Exactly right.
I think there's been a lot of ritualistic killings of children throughout the U.S. in many places here in Oklahoma. The Girl Scouts, 1977, Logan County in the 30s. I think many others. I'm going to give you something to look up, Mark, that'll blow your mind. Look up the Magic Circle Empire. and we'll leave it at that. We could go all night. We could go all night on that one. Guys, we've been on a little over 2 hours. Kirk's tired. His phone's dying out. Calvin got kicked off. Hey, I appreciate everybody for coming on here tonight. We had a really good talk. We had, like I always say, we have the best people on here. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have anything you want to show us, you want brought up in a future show, pictures or whatever, you can talk to Kirk at his Facebook, Kirk Reed, REED, or you can email them to me at my email, or I have a Facebook page under Abnormal Investigations. Send us, if you have anything going on, send us the links or anything. We'd be glad to investigate them. Calvin helps people that's having trouble at your house. He will come to your house pro bono and help you get rid of what he calls dangerous cryptids. And if he does that, help him out, show him some love for what he does. It takes a lot of money to do that with him and his team. And Kirk, I'm going to let you have the last word. I always let my guests have the last word on the shows before we take off. And thanks for being here, Kirk. I appreciate it.
Guys, I appreciate you having me. You make me feel like I'm part of the team. Like I said before, I'll answer any questions. I'll help out in any way that I can. And I'm an open book.
All right, everybody. And with that, we're going to tell you all goodbye. We'll see you next time. God bless. Keep your head on a swivel. And for sure, make sure you're not nothing's dinner. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
And we'll see you on the next one. Good to see you, Kirk. We'll talk to you later.
Good to see you, Mike. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.